Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening. Whatever time it is for you, we have a message. You are booked to sit here until 11:52, so put your feet up for the time being and watch the world go by. As soon as you get the road, even if it's before 11:52, you may depart. I'm Cyclo, welcome aboard Let's Play Train Simulator Classic, as you can see here. We are currently in a siding. It is currently 11:10 in the morning. We're sitting here for apparently the next 42 minutes. Now, the most annoying thing about this for me is I've done this twice already, trying to publish this scenario today. The first time the entire scenario didn't take. The second time, only the first half of the scenario took, and the second video for some reason never started. This is now my third time spending 40 minutes on a siding doing nothing but watching trains. I'm a little less than amused right now because that's an hour and a half I can't spend doing something else now, plus the time driving. So basically 2 hours I can't do anything else now. I'm a little bit annoyed by that. So I'm going to have to maybe play the next scenario after this a little earlier just to make sure I've got a recording to work with and hope that nothing goes wrong with it. In any case, let's look at what's going on here on the map so we know what's going to be happening here. We have to go to Ravenstruther, as you can see, but we can't go there yet because we're all the way down here and we're stuck here for a while. And as you can see, if we scroll up here, there's a train already coming. So let's stand by for this train to come by. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and acquaint ourselves with what's going on here, because we have 4 more trains to watch before we can actually do anything. Where are they located? Well, let's go back to the map and look again at that first train that we saw back here. That was a service 1M11. We're going to notice, by the way, that 4M63 is going to take off in a second, so let's go ahead and watch that. So back to the map, here's the train that just took off. The next train we're going to see is all the way back, well actually no, that's the other train that just took off, the Voyager. The next train we're going to see is all the way back here. So this Euston to Glasgow Central service, 1S42, is the next service we're going to see. And as you can see, it's got quite a ways to go. It has to come around the curve here, past these 2 trains in the other lane. And then we're going to see that train. Further back, we have another train back here. This is not the second train. It's going to be the third train we're going to see. You can see it's way far back here. Holy moly, am I just not finding it? Okay, there it is. 1S44 is all the way back here, the 820 Birmingham New Street to Edinburgh. It only just recently got away from Gretna Junction, whereas there's another one right behind it. That one is the 9 o'clock 1S40 Manchester Airport to Glasgow Central. Meanwhile, on the other side of the track, we're going to find, or on the other side of the route, I should say. By the way, there's nothing in here. Don't bother looking in here. There's nothing in the Glasgow or Coatbridge or any of these areas or Lanark or anything like that. That's not Lanark. That's, where is that? I forgot what that station is. Oh, Larkhall. That's what that is. Larkhall. There's nothing there either. Just forgot what it was. There's nothing in Lanark either, so don't look at it there. We're going to Ravenstruther. Nothing beyond that for us to look at. The only other trains on the map are these 2. 1M54 is the one we're going to see, the Edinburgh to Birmingham New Street from 10:51. That's the train we're going to be seeing coming through next. This train just sits here until we move. I don't know what its purpose is. I haven't noticed it because I haven't really been paying attention to it. Maybe it just sits on the platform the whole time. I don't know. But anyway, we're back here. We're waiting for all these trains, and that's what we have to do. We have to wait for 4 trains to go by before we can do anything. I'm going to cut out a lot of the waiting, and we're going to get some train shots, and then we're going to get moving, and we're going to finish this journey to Ravenstruther. And that was the final train we had to wait for. So now all we have to do is wait for our green signal. I'm going to go ahead and apply a little bit of power while the brake is still on my traction to make sure that I can go immediately when I have the signal without having to wait for the train to adjust for any kind of gradient. Granted, there is no gradient, but at least with the power already there, at least it goes right away. So brakes are coming off as we have our yellow signal, and we are quickly gaining speed and on our way. And increase the throttle now as we get moving. And there is our yellow signal, which is going to change as we pass it. There we go. So, leaving Abingdon down loop, our next stop is the reverse point for Ravenstruther. We are 17 miles away, so we finally get to do some driving here. Notice we're on the road at 11:49, so we actually got a 3-minute advantage on that wait there. So we got an extra 3 minutes to work with, which is splendid if you ask me. I expect we'll arrive in the next 20 minutes or so, as we should be able at some point to get our speed up to the 75 miles per hour limit. It won't be for a little while though, I don't think. But we will be able to do it. I just realized my camera view is not centered, so let's turn on the computer just to do something here, and we'll center our camera view. Okay. Maybe it was centered, I'm just not recognizing it as centered. I don't know. Let's poke around the computer a little more, actually. I usually like to bring up the unit information, but I'm going to go ahead and actually do something else. Let's see what the traction cutout looks like. That does nothing. Let's look at maintenance. Fuel system check. Nope. Engine prelude. Nope. Air brake setup. Nope. Can't do any of those. So back we go. We can't do that. Running. Oh, this is going to be nice. Show running totals on display. Lifetime totals. Look at that. We now have some data for 66557 since 7th of May 2000. Apparently this locomotive has been in operation. As of the day of this scenario, it has been on time for 71,932 hours, 863,220 miles, and so on and so forth. So that's the data on this train. You can look that stuff up for whatever item of whatever class 66 you are driving. Very neat little touch to calculate it. Now, if you put in a date that is before the date the train actually went into service, it'd be a little bit humorous as to what shows up there. I don't want to imagine what might show up there if you put in a wrong date. Of course, if you don't set the date at all, the default date is January 1st, 2010. You're just going to see the same data up there every single scenario in that case. So if you set the date in your scenario, you can actually see update data based on your date, how long it's been in service, and so on and so forth. Passing another major roadway here. Our speed is up now to 52.5 miles per hour. We are slowly getting to a speed we want to be at. Our ETA is showing 12:05. That seems early. Like very close to 12:05. I think we just lost a whole minute. So it's showing 12:04. That seems even earlier, if you ask me. I don't know. Not an expert, but by my miles per hour math, that seems very early. I don't think we're going to be there at 12:04. There's a car going by on the road to the right. Kind of stalled at 57 miles per hour right now. We are getting a slight downhill here. That will not be enough to move us up to our full speed limit. However, we will eventually have another nice downhill that will get us to that point. May even be able to go slightly above 75. Even though we're not going to speed past 75, we might be able to go slightly above that. And even so, we can legally go above 75 and the system will not call us a speeding. I'm actually tempted to see how far I can take it up. I think it's only going to stop at 76 and change, however, because by the time you get to 75, the downhill is ending. And there are no additional downhills after that. You drop back to 70. But I am tempted to see how far I can take the speed. Now at 58 miles per hour. I want to remind you to stay tuned for the next scenario. I am planning to do the final HHA scenario, and this is one that I have not seen. The one to Drax Power Station. We're doing the segment between North Allerton and York on the original East Coast mainline route. I have to make sure I have all the stock for that. I don't know if there's any stock missing, so I may have to double check that something is installed for that, but otherwise we're ready to go for that. And I have been putting off the Miami scenario I want to do. I am going to get back and do that because it's a really nice scenario. And I do want to introduce another US route as well at some point. I need to go back to Germany as well. I've been doing so much in the UK lately, and there's still so much to do, but I have to get back to the US, I have to get back to Germany here and do some new stuff in those places as well. So I'm going to try and hop on a couple airplanes here again to see what I can show you here. I'm leaning towards something like the Munich-Augsburg route or some other kind of Munich route, even though there's a lot of Munich routes. It seems to be where some of the best trains are, the BR442 for example. I think an ice float goes along one of those tracks somewhere. So there are some nice trains on those tracks, and while there are a couple other German routes, I can't think of them off the top of my head. I'm just thinking about the ones I can think of. In the U.S., I kind of have Feather River Canyon in mind, but I have to do that one when I'm a little ahead on my recordings for a while, because I do know there are some broken scenarios that need to have adjustments made to them, and I need to play them to see what needs to be properly adjusted. Yes, there are already replacements in the workshop, but keep in mind I'm doing it with career scoring in mind. I want to see if I can set up how it should be done in career scoring to achieve a perfect score. Completely optional, I just want to see if it can be done. So Feather River Canyon's on my mind. I'm going to get to the DLC on Sherman Hill and the Miami route, of course. I need to go back to Donner Pass. I have not looked at the official scenarios, but I can guarantee you right now we are not going to be doing the 3-hour scenario in one straight video. I'm going to be doing a lot of skipping in that one, because I do not intend to show you that scenario as a straight 3-hour run. There is no way on earth I'm making you sit through that for 3 hours. Absolutely none. So there will be some skippers. I already showed you the entire Donner Pass route via a set of workshop scenarios, which is a rare way to introduce a route for me. I usually don't introduce by workshop scenarios. But the original scenarios couldn't even be achieved, and at the time I did not know how to, let's just say, tweak the scenarios to make them work. So now I'm going to probably go back and tweak those scenarios after I do runs on them to see what the timings should be. But once again, I want to note again, this is something I'm going to do once I'm far ahead. So don't expect Donner Pass for a little while. I want to get a week, at least a couple weeks if I can, ahead before I fiddle with anything like that. But I know I'm going through workshop scenarios for a lot of routes as well. I started going through some collections for people, and I actually downloaded some users' entire collections just so I can figure out which ones they have an affinity to, which routes they have an affinity to working on. So whichever ones they have the most scenarios in, that's a route that I want to show that person's work in. And I kind of have that I'm kind of figuring that out for a lot of users. So I'm going to see if I can show you some user content. Maybe I'll spend, I don't know if it'll be a whole week, but I'll try to show you at least one or two at a time for different users. And I may get to the point that I record a few scenarios just to see which one I like to show you, which ones I like. So I haven't decided how I'm going to do that yet, but I want to show you workshop content. If I can find series content, I may just show you all parts of your series like that 4-part one without even asking myself whether I want to do that. I may just do that. I have been finding scenarios for the East Coast Main Line Northeast as well, which includes the Middlesbrough area. I've also been locating South London to Brighton. I've had that one for a while actually, but I've already had all those scenarios for a long time grouped out for some of the major users there. But something of interest, and I'm going to point this out. If I put I have DPS Northeast. That's not the one I'm thinking of though. If I were to load up South London to Brighton, I can put both South London Network and London to Brighton scenarios on that route. So I have a feeling I could just take any scenario from those two routes, stick them both on that route, and they'll be just fine. Additionally, there is with the release of the Dover route, it was based on the London and St. Pancras to Faversham and Sheerness 2016 route. So I would imagine that any scenarios from that route, save maybe the odd, something I read about Catford Bridge, save that. But most scenarios otherwise should work, I would imagine, on, I want to say on the Dover route. The problem, of course, with that is that the Dover route does not include St. Pancras to Strood. I think it includes Gravesend. I could be wrong about Gravesend. I think it includes Gravesend. But it does not include at least St. Pancras to Gravesend. It doesn't include the high-speed section. So that's out of the question. That said, there is a new version of that route based on the Dover route. The ID for that one is the 0066-D000. D as in David. The London and St. Pancras to Sheerness and Faversham is B as in boy. Meanwhile, I think C is the version that goes to the Medway Valley. I forget what A is. There's an A is something else. I think it's some other kind of merge, but I forget exactly which one it is. I'd have to research that. But I know I currently have the 0000 and the C000 currently installed. I have to install the B000 because I do have a scenario pack using that, and I am finding scenarios by at least one user for that route. So I kind of want to show off that route as well in the merged format. And that might be something like a drive from London, Victoria, all the way to Faversham in one drive. That's the kind of thing I have in mind for that. So if I can find it, I'm going to do it. Why not? But speaking of being able to run scenarios from other routes on a larger version of the route, let's remember North Wales Coastal and South Wales Coastal. Both of those routes had an original branded version, and then they had an unbranded version when the brand ones were no longer available. Arriva was gone. Cross Country, which I don't think was relevant to the route, was gone, but the 220 has run in some of these areas, I think. And the Virgin, the biggest known problem one, Virgin, is gone. Always the Virgin. In any case, Virgin is so antsy about their name being used now that you can't even refer to a train type as a Virgin in any kind of a pay-wear product, because they will literally do a cease and desist on you, from what I understand. And I'm basing this only on my opinion, but I have seen an Armstrong Powerhouse product that mentions the red-black livery. That is legal. You can color a train red and black, and you can call it a red-black livery. You could just come up with that design on your own. It does not have to be a Virgin. It may resemble a Virgin, but it doesn't have to be a Virgin train. Needless to say, that had to happen in that product, and I don't know if the Virgin is available, the Virgin logo is available in the stock pack or not. I would have to actually put the stock pack on for anything that has a red-black livery and find out for you. I don't know. It would be a little amusing if it does, though, because that'd be one way you can get it that was not forecast in the past, I guess. I don't know. But in any case, I do have the original version of North Wales Coastal. I do have the original version of South Wales Coastal. You already saw the South Wales Coastal with the Arriva branding. I will be showing you Virgin branding on North Wales Coastal, and I am going to try to get you the Pendolino scenarios using a reskin version of the 390. So this is the plans. I am going to try to show you some Virgin. I already have it, so I can use it. It's perfectly legal. Come at me, Virgin. I'll fight you on that if you want to come at me. I can't afford to, but I will come at you. Can come at me, and I will still do it because it's legal for me to do that. At the same time, I should also add that because I have the branded version of the route and because I have the train, I can also take workshop scenarios from any of the three. There's 1M12. That's our final Virgin service, ironically. I can take the 1M12. I'm saying that I get the wrong way. I can take any service from South Wales Coastal, the Bristol to Swansea extension, or I should say the Cardiff to Swansea extension, or South Wales Main Line. And while I can't run the latter two on the original smaller route for obvious reasons, the route ends, what I can do is I can take from the extension and South Wales Main Line and swap them back and forth. I own the stock for both because I own the extension. So I own the stock for both, that's perfectly fine. I can run those scenarios on each route, no problem. I can put it on whatever route I want to. So if I want to, I can go ahead and I can take all the South Wales mainline scenarios, install them to South Wales Coastal. I can leave the trains alone, but I can also opt to swap in the Arriva models because I have them. Why not? I don't think that causes too many problems on a stock swapping perspective because it's the exact same model, it's just a different look of the model. So I think I'm so clear to do that, or I can choose to put the Arriva version inside of the, like the Arriva textures inside of the South Wales mainline. I can technically get away with that too. So all the textures would be there, nothing wrong. So that's one option I have. And North Wales Coastal, same idea. I can take the Virgin textures. This is Carstairs, by the way. I can take the Virgin model and apply it to the full version that goes to Holyhead. I don't have the Holyhead extension, so I don't have the Ghost livery, but I can still do the Virgin models from the original route. So any scenario that runs on the original North Wales Coastal to Holyhead, I can copy that into the new North Wales Coastal full route, and that particular route would give me the Virgin on those scenarios, even on that full route. So I can still show you the original scenario on the other version of the route, just without any sign branding in the stations. So the And plus, it would probably look kind of weird, though, because it would have the new branding. And Avanti, I believe it is. We would have the new Avanti branding with Virgin Trains. That would be kind of funny, wouldn't it? I guess that would be kind of a breakage. I just haven't been able to get the extension myself to put on the main route. So there's our double yellow. You would imagine it was a single yellow, but the thing is, it is a double yellow because the signals have been allowed to set up to allow you to go past the signal at the end of the orange section if you need to. You will fit inside the orange section fully. In fact, it's a little far beyond the signal. The orange section could have started right where the signal is if they chose to set it up that way. But we can fit inside the orange area completely. And I may try to hang on the outside edge of the orange in front, where the number is. I may hang out to the left a little bit. We'll see what happens. I'm going to go ahead and put some brakes on now, see what we can do. So I'm down to 20. I'm going to coast in right now. Apparently it thinks I still have 17 miles to go until I get to Ravenstruther reverse. That's adorable. Where am I in regards to the signal? Let's find out. There is a signal. So as long as I pass that signal, I'm good. Well, actually, I'm not going to see it change because it stays red. But I can go ahead and I can stop anytime now. So I will do that. That should count for me for signal purposes. So I'm going to stop the train right here. I'm going to put the train in reverse. I'm going to leave the brakes on. In fact, I'll apply a little bit more brakes because I can. And I'll start applying the throttle now. And we should get our check mark on the task in a moment. Once that is done, I'm going to hop on the back of the train and we're going to go ahead and do what needs to be done. There you go. Now reverse to the head jump where the scenario will finish. Roger that. So we're going to look at the back of the train. I'm going to go ahead and take the brakes off. As I do, I'm going to go ahead and hit Shift Tab, or Control Tab, sorry. We have been approved to pass a signal at danger. So I'm going to go ahead and apply some more throttle now. And back we go. So you can see that the shunt signal has come on next to the red. Let me clarify this. The red signal will stay red every time you go to Ravenstruther. You have to request access to join. Or to go into Ravenstruther. Otherwise, you cannot go into Ravenstruther. Simple as that. Even if the track is set, you would be dinged for passing a red signal. You must request access. The white shunt signal is simply because there are no other signals inside of Ravenstruther. This is a shunting area. So if you're going into Ravenstruther, you are shunting, whether you like it or not. You're going to be shunting. And once you are inside Ravenstruther and the track is locked to the inside, which I don't think we're going to have to deal with that ourselves. Whatever you do in there is shunting within that area. So it makes sense that you would only be shunting. You would see a shunt signal going into Ravenstruther. It's like that with other signals as well elsewhere. Anyway, we're continuing on the main line with the front of the engine here. Or the entire train, I should say. And now we are fully past the signal. So this line will be able to clear, not for that signal, but for trains coming forward in the other direction that we normally go in. And we are now going to be fully inside of Ravenstruther. You can see the rest of the train curving around on the Ravenstruther track, approaching the double red at the end of the track there. So now we are fully inside of Ravenstruther. We're going to get off the junction here so that can be cleared. We're going to look at the back of the train where we are right here. We're going to see that we are going to eventually approach that double red signal. I'm going to put a little bit of brakes on just to slow us down. Now we have till 12:20 to make this stop. I'm not going to take till 12:20. I'm going to get us out of here for the day. If I can get an extra 7 minutes for a coffee break, I'm doing it. I don't even drink coffee. All right. Let's go ahead and finish parking this thing. and we are going to look at the train as we finish. And there we go. That's backing into Ravenstruther without seeing where you're going. Fantastically done. And we are going to move on to the East Coast Mainline for our final HHA scenario, barring any problems with it, of course. If I do have problems with it, well, you'll see something else on Tuesday. But that's the plan. Well done. The local driver will now take over for the loading of the train for the return trip to Drax. I feel like I've heard this before. Anyway, I hope you have a wonderful day, evening, or night, whatever it is for your part of the world. Like the video, subscribe to the channel. I will see you next time for hopefully that last HHA scenario. That is the plan, like I said. And I'll see you for that. I'm Cyclone. Bye-bye.